In a quiet town surrounded by dusty roads and small wooden houses lived a young man named John. The town was the kind of place where everyone knew each other's business. People talked a lot about neighbors, about dreams, about failures, and sometimes those talks could destroy a person. John was a simple young man who lived with his old uncle in a small house near the edge of the town. His uncle was quiet, calm, and carried a kind of sadness in his eyes, like someone who had seen life take away something important. But John was different. He was full of hope. Every morning he walked through the busy market in the center of town and watched people selling fruits, bread, clothes, and handmade items. One day, he imagined something beautiful. He imagined his own shop, a place where people would come, talk, buy things, and remember his name. The idea filled his heart with excitement. And, like many young people do, John made a mistake. He told everyone. He told his friends first. "I'm saving money to open my own shop," he said proudly. His friends looked at each other. Then one of them laughed. "You? A shop owner?" Another one said, "You can't even manage your own life." Soon the story spread through the town. People whispered and laughed. "John thinks he will become a businessman. He's dreaming too big." But John ignored them. He worked small jobs every day, carrying boxes, helping farmers, cleaning storage rooms. Slowly, he saved money for his dream. His friends pretended to support him. They sat with him at night listening to his plans. They nodded and said things like, "That's a great idea. We're proud of you." But behind John's back, they were not proud. They were jealous. One night, while John trusted them with the money he had saved for his shop, something terrible happened. The next morning, the money was gone. All of it. His friends disappeared. And the truth became clear. They had stolen the money. The town began talking again, but this time the laughter was louder. "Did you hear? John's shop dream is over. We told him he couldn't do it." John felt something inside him collapse. All the months of work, all the hope, gone in a single night. For days he barely spoke. He walked through the town like a shadow, hearing whispers everywhere he went. Even the girls who once smiled politely at him now looked at him with pity or quiet laughter. One evening he sat outside his small house, staring at the ground. His uncle stepped outside and sat beside him. For a long time, neither of them spoke. Finally, the old man sighed. "When I was young," his uncle said softly, "I had dreams too." John slowly looked at him. "I told everyone about them." The uncle looked toward the dark sky, and that was my biggest mistake. John listened carefully. The old man continued, "When you tell people your dreams, some will smile at you, but many will secretly hope you fail." John's voice was quiet. "So, what should I do now?" The uncle looked at him with calm wisdom. "Next time you dream, don't tell anyone. Build it quietly. Let the results speak for you." Those words stayed in John's heart. Something inside him changed that night. Not anger, not revenge, just silence. Days passed, then weeks. People noticed something strange. John stopped talking about his plans. He stopped sitting with the same friends. He stopped explaining himself. But every night, a small light glowed from the window of his room. Inside, John sat at a wooden table with a notebook. He had discovered something new: storytelling. He began writing stories about courage, dreams, and quiet strength. At first, the stories were simple, but John kept writing, night after night, while the town slept, while people talked and laughed, while the world ignored him. Years passed. The quiet boy who once talked about opening a shop became someone different, calmer, stronger, more focused. And something unexpected started happening. People began hearing stories. Beautiful stories. Stories that children loved. Stories that adults listened to with deep silence. Stories that spread from one town to another.
and every time someone asked who wrote them, the answer was always the same: John. Slowly, people in the town began to look at him differently. Children followed him in the streets asking for new stories. Adults greeted him with respect. Even the same girls who once ignored him now watched him with admiration. Not because he had money, not because he had power, but because he had become someone important to the hearts of people. One evening, the town gathered in the square to hear John tell one of his stories. The crowd was bigger than anyone expected. Children sat on the ground. Adults stood quietly behind them. Even the girls who once laughed were there, listening with shining eyes. At the back of the crowd stood his old uncle, watching silently, proud. After the story ended, someone asked John a question. "John, how did you do it?" John paused for a moment. Then he looked toward the old man standing quietly behind everyone, and he smiled. "My uncle once told me something," John said softly. The whole crowd leaned closer to listen. He said, "Dreams grow stronger in silence." John looked at the people around him. "So I stopped telling people my plans. I just started working on them." The town became quiet, and in that silence, everyone understood the lesson. Sometimes the best way to protect your dreams is to let them grow where no one can touch them, in silence.